what we will show... How much time?
How are we going for time?
Well, you can just start. If I hear people starting to walk out, I'll stop. But I should show the dome house just quickly as a kind of lead into, sort of lead out, I suppose. And I'll show our Melbourne Uni competition very quickly. But the dome house is in Hawthorn, and part of this building is about trying to do in a contemporary way, I guess, a kind of sort of romantic or what's the word? I'll just leave it at romantic, I guess. Picturesque building. But it's also about the way that the building can kind of work with the garden, sort of idea of the ruin. The plan itself is very simple, just pinwheels on both levels around living room spaces. And it was a project that we came up with the idea very quickly, which is this sort of idea of the walled garden, and then this sort of other thing that marks, because it was sort of at the top of the hill in Hawthorn, in ritzy part of Hawthorn called Scotch Hill, but a thing that sort of marked the top, and they were sort of cut to create courtyards. And it sort of evolved from a very quick idea, a reasonable amount of time to get to this sort of other version of it, which is basically the sort of idea of the puzzle, so that the building is not cut like we started off doing, but it's sort of pulled apart, or there's sort of parts missing. And for us, it was kind of, say, a little bit of a revelation, the sort of idea that,
Parts more intriguing than the whole.
Yeah, that it could be more intriguing, or you remove.
How
things.
Much can you remove, and people still in their own mind see it as a dome?
Yeah, and then also the kind of fascinating thing that you see inside. What's the other thing? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but it was also about just the one system. Like, could a house be designed just with one idea? And that idea was that puzzle. So every part of that puzzle became part of the building, right down to the joinery, sort of letterboxes. And so the letterboxes and meter boxes and the cellar became parts of the fragments. And then there were sort of other elements that we allowed to refer back to that picturesque, the sort of gargoyles and dovecotes.